So in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw your columns by taking advantage of this axis that we've generated in the previous video. So to draw your columns, you go to the modeling menu again and then click on column right here, and then once you give it a click, you immediately see the property dialog box pop up. So this is where you give settings to the dimensions and the cross sections of your columns. So what we're going to do right here is to be able to position rectangular and square columns right in this area, and then down here we'll position round or circular columns like so. So as you can see in the dialog box right here, we have the sections, and if you want me to zoom in right here, you see a preview of what we have already input, or the software has given to us as a default values. So I can change it. I'm going to use say 200 by 300 size columns for the middle part, the middle here, and then I'm going to use square columns for the periphery or the outer boundaries of our. So we'll continue by changing the properties of our columns by starting with the changes in our cross-sectional dimensions of a column. And to start with, as you can see, this will be the column that we've already selected from the section manager, or as the software has already given to you as a default section you're going to use, which is a rectangular column. And you can see the preview as I bring it close to the intersection of the axis. You can see the preview. In any event we want to change the cross section of our column, we can click on the section manager right here and change it to any type we so desire. So I'll change the dimensions from 500 by 250 to 300 to 250, and once I hover my mouse around the axis intersection, I can see a preview. So I want to bring these columns right in the middle of this area here as an example, and then once I give it a click, now our axes are coming in handy by giving us a snapping point wherever there is an intersection. So the software has already given us a label for the column and has also added the dimensions of the column and added it to the label. It's 300 by 250. So I'll add the same type of column at this axis intersection, and also this axis intersection, as well as this axis intersection. Now what I want to do is to change the dimensions again to 250 by 250 size columns again, and bring it to the outer boundaries of our building, just like so. So by giving it a click, I can immediately insert my column. Another way to also do it fast is to also draw a boundary, a cross-section boundary around the intersection points, like so, that I want to and indicate that I want to insert columns within these intersections. So to be able to do that, I just draw the boundary and then make sure my boundary is covering all the intersections I want. Here's another example as well. Just these two intersection points I'll draw, and immediately I'll insert my columns. So the next thing to do is to also change the section of my columns and make it a circular or a round column, and then insert them in this area on the A axis right here. So to do that, go back to the property box, dialog box, click on the section manager, and then right down here under the database command, I can click on the section I want. We have other types and shapes as well, as you can see, the T, the cross, the eyes, and the hexagonal and L and hollow shapes, as you desire. So I want the circular column. I'll give it a click and then hit OK. Now I have it as my default right here, and then I'll change the size to 250 as I so desire. Once I'm ready, again I'll just click and drag my cross section box, cross selection box around the intersections I want to insert my columns. Give it a click and I already have my columns inserted. Now to make change to any of these columns as I so desire, let me hit close right here, press escape to exit out of any command. For instance, now I want to change this column 1A or column 13. I'll just give it a click. I can click on the label or I can click on the column itself, then right click and go to properties. The properties can also be found once you give it a click on the contextual ribbon right here. Give it a click and then I have the property dialog box popping up like so. So if I want to make any changes, I can immediately make the changes right here. What I want to do is to change this section to also a circular section. So I'll click on the session manager and then select the circular column type, hit OK, and then I'll change the dimension from 400 to 250 and then hit update. Once I do that, I'll immediately see the change as a preview. So this is how you insert columns in ProtoStructures. Pretty much straightforward and easy to do. And as I've seen with the software, it's practically impossible to draw columns without having axis, which is why you have to first insert or draw your axis before you can come up with your columns.